Welcome.
What's up, fellas?
So it's been a busy week. Would you guys agree?
Whew. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
highlights of the week, we all got to see big DJ Royalty for his birthday, man. I want to tell you happy belated birthday, although we got to see you like on the birthday. So
Yeah.
happy birthday, man.
Appreciate you. Appreciate y'all coming out. Appreciate hanging out with the crew. Al,
I did learn that Al Hero's very good at pool.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I get super lucky. That's kind of the story of my life, right?
I don't know. He was talking mad trash when I came in, and then he stopped. I don't know what happened.
I beat you once.
What?
Truth be told, Matt Johnson is a pool shark.
Not at all. I got lucky.
Yeah.
Bro, you probably playing tournaments and all kind of shit, bro. You probably in a league.
Yeah,
You
on
brought your own
iPhone.
You brought your own glove.
On my iPhone.
Bro, you brought gloves out, your own stick in a case. Stop lying. You had a jersey on and shit.
I did the whole
pocket full of chalk.
Yeah, bro. Chalk in his pocket.
Pocket in his pocket chalk. What's up, Ty?
Not much, man. I went to the Pink concert last night.
How was that? Did you get some glitter splashed on your forehead?
All over. She flew around the whole place. It was crazy. It was pretty awesome. Matt was with me.
Yep. That was a good concert.
Yeah, I seen the pictures. It's pretty cool. I drink Pink's bathwater in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Brandy Carlisle was pretty good too. I mean, that lady can sing. She put on a show.
Yep.
I never seen her, but I'll drink her bathwater too.
Well, speaking of stars and celebrities, man, what do you guys think about that vet versus celebrity softball game?
Shout out to my boy Paul Wall. That's actually a good dude. So same thing with Bubba Wesley. I like that guy too. I think he fought.
Wesley's good. Was it Coffee?
Anderson.
I always want to say Johnson. I want to just give him a black name, but Anderson works.
Anderson.
He likes white women, so you can call him whatever you want, probably.
I got a hug from a wrestler. That was nice. But when I found out how big her husband was, I was like, ooh.
WWE superstar Raquel Rodriguez.
Man, but then when I saw who her husband was, I was like, oh, maybe.
I just, I think it was kind of dirty how the celebrities let the veterans feel good the entire game. They got to the last inning and they put the whooping on them. And then the veterans was like, ooh, we forgot to have a hit ball.
Yeah.
They played pretty good, though. They lost by 1. It's all right. Yeah. Raising money for them to take vets out to play in tournaments all over. That's a good deal.
Well, I interviewed a lot of those vets, and a lot of them were like calm Marines or Pogues, as I like to call them in a friendly manner, the Pogues. So I'm pretty sure they weren't like the guys I remember playing softball in the military, bro. These dudes were all like admin Navy people, and so I mean, props to you guys, but y'all let us down. I heard it in Ty's voice at the end, like he just seemed like just disappointed, like he seemed hurt into the game.
Me and Ty were in there the whole time. Ty was like, we're going to execute the battle plan. It's going to get on. The veteran's going to come through. They planned this. And then at the end, Ty was like, shit, that didn't work.
Oh, yeah. Hey, CN Burkeen, Dustin's going to be on. He's backstage right now. We're making him wait. He's, making
he's doing push-ups. He's doing push-ups right now.
He's doing push-ups like he's about to go on his first date, getting his chest buffed up, shining up the forehead, getting it ready. Little baby oil on his chest, looking all shiny and sexy. Yeah, he's on.
Yeah.
So shouts out to the the Space Cowboys?
Yep.
Am I saying that right? The facility. I mean, they gave us the red carpet treatment, man. They gave us access all over. We appreciate it. Let us get on the field. We were like up close and personal with the big dog. So we do want to give a special shout out to them and thanks for allowing us inside of their quarters to do what we do as a Triple Threat Vet podcast, players in the building. Yeah. Big Bear.
I do got a little clip from the game. Mind if I show the Paul Wall clip for you?
Yeah, let's see that.
Let me show this for you. This is our boy DJ Royalty, Scott Blake, and Al Hero chopping it up with a Houston legend, the People's Champ. Paul Wall. Paul Wall on the podcast. What's up, Paul Wall?
And actually, I had a hit and an RBI. My hit only took me 25 strikes. I seen you switching up. A little bit. And then my my other one where I was out, but you know, he dropped 35 strikes. But he walked up and did the little light toss.
Yeah.
When you're working on your mechanics, light tosses.
Well, I thought they was going to bring the T. I thought they was going to bring the T out for you.
You know, I actually was the MVP of T-ball. They picked my name out of the hat when I was in kindergarten. But I still got my trophy.
Yes, sir. You still represent the H-Town. For sure. Absolutely. You're a fan favorite out here in Phoenix, man. We love you. Thank you for coming out and doing what you do, man. We really appreciate you, bro. Yes, sir.
People's champion in the building, Paul Wall at his finest.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that strikeout.
He was nice.
Woo.
Yeah, he had a lot of money in his mouth.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of money in there. All right.
Greased up and ready. That's hilarious.
Well, what you think, fellas? I think it's about that time of the day.
Yeah, let me go ahead and introduce my brother. So I deployed with this guy in 2007, and we were in the same MP battalion for probably whenever he got there. He was in 194 until he left in 2009. I left in December of 2009. So we ate a lot of the same road. So if I get emotional tonight, it could be just like I was with Fight. This guy is somebody that I actually been to combat with and knows my story. I know a lot of his story. So we're going to talk to Dusty Rudd. He's going to talk about his service. He's going to talk about his healing using psychedelics. We did post an article earlier from the VA about psychedelics, so check that out too. But without further ado, I want to bring on. Yeah.
Before you do, I'm sorry, Ty. I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, it's all good.
I just had a quick question before we bring him in. So you said you went on a couple of deployments with him. Now, did it count for two for him, like one for him and one for his forehead, or did it all count as one? Like, did they have to?
Well, I mean, here's the funny part: is like technically he got there a day before us. Like we got there a little bit after midnight.
First.
So his forehead got there early, so he got the full 30-day combat pay for like June, and then we got there in July.
Perimeter set before everybody walked in.
First of all, y'all better get off my boy. He's a Georgia boy. He gets a free pass. He gets a free pass.
Look, he's cool, man. We mess around with him, man. But you know, what I mean, he packs a heavy punch, man, and he takes it well. So that's why I give him the shit. But he knows we love him, man. So let's go ahead and bring him on in before he comes in.
Yeah, without further ado, Staff Sergeant, Army veteran Dusty Rudd.
Dusty.
Sorry. Come
on sometime.
Sorry. My head came on before my voice did. Sorry, guys.
Oh man, Dusty, that's almost as bad as that guy that plays for Boston, and he wears that damn headband. I can't remember. I know he's from Colorado. I can't think of his name right now, but he wears the. Oh my gosh, man, he gets on, bro. We just die laughing, me and my kids, but it's all good, bro. We love you.
Well, it's like Trey Lance, man. I said Trey Lance has got a better shot of his eyebrows meeting his forehead than he does getting Dallas into the playoffs. I tell you what, it's one of those things, man. You got that Peyton Manning gene.
Man.
So Dusty, just to get things started, can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up?
Yeah, so I grew up on the state line of Tennessee and Georgia. It depends on what day of the week it is what I'll tell you where I'm from. However, I went to all my schooling was in Tennessee, even though I was born in Georgia. And so that being said, I ended up joining the military out of the Knoxville MEPS. So my background is kind of suburban, but with a little bit of mix of farming. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, so I was out farming from 5 a.m. until my grandfather said it was done. And so that was the kind of where I got my drive and determination and work ethic was my grandfather, my grandmother. And I kind of carried that along through my life, and it kind of pushed me into the military within a certain respect.
Yeah. You know, I'm from Corbin, Kentucky, that southeastern Kentucky area. So I know the area that we're from there, the Ohio Valley area. It's the Bible Belt, and then people absolutely love the military. So either you grow up and you either become a farmer, a horse racer, or maybe you make some bourbon, or you play real good basketball and go to Kentucky or Tennessee, or you join the military. So when did you join the military?
So I actually joined the military about 6 months out of high school. Real quick, funny story. My business management class, my freshman year, I had a guy from the U.S. Marshals come and talk to me and gave a whole spiel about things. And at the end of his spiel, he was like, hey, this is the path to become a U.S. Marshal. And in that path, he said military, law enforcement to detective to U.S. Marshal. So after high school, I had a check in hand to go to the college I wanted to. And I said, you know what? I don't feel like I should do it. But then I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do the military, but I wasn't sure. I ended up joining the military on a whim. I wanted to do it, but it kind of took me off guard when I actually joined. It wasn't something that I had set in place at the time. I knew I always wanted to, but I wasn't set on the date. And for me,
police charges will do that to you, Dusty. Make you go quick.
Jail, Army. You're like, fuck it. Where do I sign?
When I was younger, I was a good kid.
He said when he was younger. Well, I mean, when you joined the military, did you know you wanted to be an MP?
So yeah, the MP position, I got an option, and everybody gets this option in the military and the Army. They always say, "Oh, I had a Ranger option with Airborne school," whatever. I did have that option. Hand to God, did. And I said, no, I want to go to MP because I want to take that position into the U.S. Marshals eventually. So that's why I joined military police, which for some reason my recruiter was like, yeah, you won't go to deploy.
They said you wouldn't?
What a good recruiter.
That was a damn lie, especially at Fort Campbell. Jeez.
Hey, somebody drove through that recruiting station while I was in basic training.
Yeah.
Purposely.
Wow.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. So what was your first duty station?
So I went straight out of basic training right into Fort Campbell. So I probably July of 2004, I went to Fort Campbell. And my unit had just got back from the initial push into Iraq, the OIF-1, driving across Kuwait, straight into combat. They had just gotten back months prior. And by the time I got to the unit, they said, hey, by the way, we're deploying back to Iraq in December of 04, excuse me. And I was like, oh, great. Well, there's no rest on this one. We're going straight into the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for everyone's edification, we were both in the 716th MP Battalion from him 04, me 99, until I think we both left in 2009, right?
Latter part of 09, I left to go to Leonard Wood.
Right. I think I left in like December of 09 to finish SLC or ALC at the time. That's a whole story.
What's funny is Berto there, shout out to Berto on the podcast as always. He said that it sounds like that recruiter they were looking for was Al. But Berto, you got it wrong. They just had the wrong address because Al would give out Marine Corps business cards or Army business cards. And so that's why they went in the wrong place and he knew to get out of there.
Right.
All I'm saying is years later, that's the same recruiting station at Chattanooga that ended up getting had the issues that it did.
Yep.
So
that's crazy. I think our friend Staff Sergeant Hughes was there. I think he lives there, and he was there when that happened. I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive, but that's crazy to hear about that. I'm surprised he wasn't in, taking somebody out when they did that. All right, hey, so your service as an MP. I'm trying to look at my list here. I want to talk about the warfighter team because here's what I remember from Dusty. I remember the Sergeant Major telling me that we're going to have 2 warfighter teams, Sergeant Major Palmer, and he was gung-ho that we were going to win the thing. And exactly. Thank you, Sergeant Major. Future guest on the podcast right there. But talk to me about the preparation, because the stuff that you went through for that, I watched out my window. I prepped. I had to, be at certain places at 3:00 in the morning to, do whatever Cribben said. Or
you got 3:00 in the morning? Thank you. You got lucky.
Yeah, exactly. But I was.
We were still going from the night before.
Yeah, tell me about I joined the Navy, bro. I really am, because we didn't get up till 7.
So the warfighter process, man, that was amazing. Absolutely amazing, because it's everything about the military you hear about. It's all the fun stuff. And I say fun stuff, the crucible in the Marine Corps, all that's the only thing I can relate to. And then all this stuff is like the obstacle courses, the freaking ruck marches, the land navigation, tearing apart weapons, blindfolded, upside down, naked, getting freaking waterboarded while you're doing it. Somebody hitting you with paintballs, whatever you're fancying, they're doing it to you. No, we trained all the time. That's all we did. That was the only thing that we knew for probably 2 months. But we timed it perfectly, because what they did was we had an expedited warfighter team, because they had just finished the annual warfighter, and for some reason they started up something probably 6 months later. So what happened was our team did it perfectly. Warfighter was in April that year, I believe, and we timed it for February as the qualification and basically tryouts. And we sent, I don't know how many people actually went to try out, but it was between the entire battalion, and we sent just a ton of people. We flooded the unit with bodies. And once we made the team, there's 3 men on each team and then 2 alternates. So we had 8 men on the team, and absolutely everybody went through everything. I was an alternate. Okay, so I was an alternate. I actually was the 6th man or the 12th man or whatever you want to consider it. I wasn't even actually on the team that won. I was just a stand-in. I did everything they did. Just because I was an alternate didn't mean we didn't get to, get all the crap. And so we did it morning, noon, and night. It was absolutely, 72 hours, no sleep. We would do a 16-mile ruck march into a land nav course. The land nav course, go back to the unit, get to the unit. They give you a freaking Rubbermaid tin full of just military parts. And it's a 50 cal, it's a Mark 19, it's an M4, it's a freaking saw. Hey, by the way, you're blindfolded, figure out which this goes to. And we're timing you. And you have 5 minutes.
Did you know this going in, that was going to happen?
No, I got voluntold by my unit because I had a good PT score. I'm like, y'all know I'm stupid, right?
What was your PT score on the extended scale, Rudd?
Which time?
the best time.
363. On the 300.
Podcast is over. We ain't got to go no further. So, needless to say, what I'm trying to say is that Rudd was he personified resiliency, and he personified, training your body and your mind to learn everything about your MOS, as well as going and carrying the flag, literally carrying the flag for our battalion and his company 194, and go to a Litterwood and just absolutely showed up and showed out. I thought it was amazing. Other than all the deployment stuff we had, that I was really one of the proudest things I remember from all you guys is, something we did at Fort Campbell. So thanks for that. All right. This is the part I want to get into. So let's start talking about some of your traumatic experiences that led to, your use of psychedelics. Just start talking about a little bit of it, and then we'll come back to it there at the end. Go ahead, buddy.
And Dustin, I wore my shades. I wore my shades just in case you break down. I'm gonna break down with you, brother.
I'm not sure if it's gonna happen right now, but it'll happen.
Okay.
So my first deployment, man, I was too young to understand what was going on. Mentally, I was too young to understand. I was too in the fight. I was too gung-ho. I was too conditioned to understand that there's a reality going on around me that isn't reality, that isn't normal, that isn't something that we should feel. And to the point that we used to laugh about it. We used to laugh about it, smoke and joke and all that stuff, man. You get by an IED, you roll out, you're just like, grab a cigarette, just roll through. You're staying out, you're staying in your room. Your entire room just gets annihilated by freaking small on fire. Like you're literally standing outside of your door. You look outside and just you see rounds and tracers going directly in front of your hallway. Not like, overhead or something. Like literally it's like almost like you're standing under an awning and there's rain in front of you and you can see it all hitting in front of you. That's how it was. Like literally if you would have taken it one step forward, it was going to be in your dome piece. Done.
Wow.
Stood there and watched it like it was nothing. And then 2 seconds later, after the fire stopped, you threw on a helmet, your vest, and PTs and ran out and tried to freaking figure out what was going on and return fire.
Wow.
I'm not sure how that was normal, but that was normal.
Wow. That's crazy.
That kind of goes back to what Berto said last week or the week before about the age, right? The age at 25 years old, being like the age of where your brain is actually conducive to an environment like that. But anything before that, right? You're just not mentally developed, especially as a male, right? To really understand what we were doing and really comprehend all the ramifications of what combat actually looks like and what it does to you mentally and even physically, right? So yeah, that goes back to kind of what he touched on as well. How old were you when you were on your first hump, Dustin? I
was 19. So I turned so I think I turned 19 in basic training. Went to my first unit at 19, and then my deployment, the beginning part was 19, latter part I was 20. IEDs, mortars, you name it, man. It was just commonplace. I mean, we were out there just acting a fool on purpose, just to catch contact. Walking out into the city with freaking AT-4 strapped on your back with a freaking IR sensor on your head in the middle of a freaking restoring rights. At the time, my first deployment, we did the restoring rights mission, which was kind of the same thing they did in Fallujah and shock and awe and all that. I was up in Talifar, and we watched from our lodging, whatever you want to call it, where we slept at night.
Fucking tents and Connex boxes, yeah.
we had a JP medium for an entire platoon, basically, and just wrecking the city, just absolutely annihilating it, knowing the next day you're going out there and you're going to have to assault or cordon or check and see what's going on, who's left, because any left in sector at that time was considered hostile. It was fire on, it was shoot on sight. There was no questionings. It was like, who was there? They're not supposed to be there. We gave you 2 weeks to get out. If they're still there, if they're still pieced together, hey, they're getting out in some way or another. Yeah. Exactly.
The old hearts and mind, right? 2 in the heart, 1 in the mind kind of deal.
And that's what I mean. I was away from the flagpoles and anything on the unit, so we were kind of on our own little. I was with old Brookshire. He was my platoon leader at the time, and so we kind of operated on our own. Yeah, he was actually my first platoon leader. Funny enough,
former sergeant first class, so he's one of the few officers that automatically.
Yeah, he went all the way.
For me, again.
So Dustin, I got a question for you. So
yeah.
You said that I know you and Ty, you guys deploy a lot together. So you said that first when you're 19. So I know that you're getting into the tail end of it, but I'm curious to know at what point or where were you? Were you downrange or were you back home where it started to turn for you, where you started to realize like, hey, I need to, like something's not right, something's not going on. Where did you start to kind of feel that journey starting for you where you stopped going, oh, well, it's just normal running in the middle of the street with all that stuff on and invite that danger? At what point did it turn for you?
So it's funny you said that, Matt. So my entire deployment, my first deployment, my mentality was I became a savior for my entire truck because my driver had a family, my team leader had a wife, and they had their own thing that was crucial to them. For me, I had nothing. I had my mom and dad and my sisters. So I was young. So for me, I was the one that was going to go for it. I was the one that was going to take the bullet. I was the one that was going to act full. We had three body bags in the back of our truck at all times. For me, for them, each one of them.
Wow.
So that's a mentality you have. So you don't think about that. You like I'm thinking about it now, and it's like, oh wow,
right.
I was a black bag in the back of a truck.
Right.
That's what
waiting to happen. A black bag waiting to happen.
Didn't dawn on me. So to answer your question, Matt, it didn't dawn on me until I got back to the States and I started picking fights with anything and everything. And I realized, well, no, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize it. I didn't. That's what's crazy is I went through so much and still never caught on to the fact that this is resonating so much deeper than what it was. I was picking fights with guys at bars. I was literally hoping somebody would get into altercation with a girlfriend of mine or a friend of mine or anybody. I would show up, pull up behind them in a freaking parking lot and be like, let's do this.
Because you was ready to kill.
Oh, I climbed over a drum set in a bar after somebody just because somebody said they were hitting on her in a bar. I was like, let's do this.
You know,
that wasn't me.
That's crazy, man, because, a lot of people, when it comes to this military thing, they don't understand that bond. And like you were saying, it comes a point that this is our lifestyle. This is what we do. This is what we signed up to do. And a lot of people can't understand like how you had to think that you were willing to give your life so that other people that you felt had a family or had something to lose, you didn't want that to happen for them. That was how much you cared about your unit, right? And I think that a lot of people don't understand how that can even be. Like, that doesn't make sense to some people, but it makes total sense to all of us, because we know that that common bond that we have is just that camaraderie and that unity and that brotherhood that we have. That's all that we have to get us through any of the situations. That's what we have to get us through missing home, missing our kids, missing everything, is that camaraderie. And we find laughter in things that will make a normal person break down, man. And it's amazing how you broke that down. I appreciate you sharing that, because I have another thing that to add with that, but I'm not, for time's sake and camera time. But it's amazing, man. That it gave me goosebumps hearing that, because I totally understand where you're coming from on that.
To answer your question, Matt, it happened 3 weeks into my second deployment.
Oh, okay.
And, it didn't dawn on me until I had a wife, a son that was 3 weeks old, and an adopted kid that was 2 years old. Wow. To the point that I was actually late to deployment. I don't know if you remember that, Ty. I was actually late to deployment because my ex-wife actually delivered, give or take a couple of days between when we redeployed or deployed to the second deployment. And so I was 3 weeks late. I got to Baghdad, and I was like, I got a family.
Well, you are now put into the position of the people in the first deployment that you were trying to protect. So now, I don't know, maybe you can tell, maybe you're looking around now at that point and you're trying to figure out who's going to be that guy for me. And so when it comes to that, that's the good point that Scott and you brought up. When you get into those situations, what you have is each other, right? But that's interesting that it took you staying, birth a child, getting over there and stepping off and going, uh-oh, wait a minute. This is different than the last time. It's not the same as it was. That's thank you for, like Scott said, thank you for sharing. I mean, it's just completely something that a lot of people don't understand. And they, and sometimes they say they want to understand, but when you start telling them, they kind of back away.
They damn sure don't, trust me. And with Dusty and Ty, it's the same thing, right? You come home and people want to ask you, right? Are you okay? Is everything good? Like, they really don't want to know the shit that goes on downrange. They really don't. And it's funny what you mentioned, like, the guys on your truck and the things you did, and then kind of Scott kind of touched on it as well, and then Matt, the same thing, right? But it's funny because it would be great to say, oh, we're all fucking patriots and we do this for God and country. But the fact and the truth is, I didn't do none of that shit for God and country at the time. I didn't. I did it for the people with me, the guys to my left and to my right. There was not a single thing at any time in any of my combat deployment, right, did I ever be like, shit, I'm out here for America, fucking freedom. It was like, no, I'm out here because my boy Lonnie Martinez and Chris Bisbee and all these people on the team, right? That's who I was there for, because I was like you. They got families, they got kids. We all need to go home and see those people again.
Right.
Fuck that flag right now. Like, we're in the mix, we're in the moment. So Dusty's spot the fuck on, bro. It was never God and country at that moment. Now, looking back, we're like, hey, we're patriots and we did it for our country. But the fact was, I did it because some fucker told me I had to go there and do it. And I'm going to do the best at it that I can. But I'm really doing it for my brothers to the left and right of me. That was the bottom line.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you something about Dusty. He was a sergeant during the first deployment. You were a specialist, right? Or you might have been a corporal or something. The second 3, okay.
I was 83.
The second deployment in Baghdad, he was a sergeant. I think he got his promotable status while he was there. I know he's eventually a staff sergeant, but he was there to do PSD for our battalion commander. And so not only did he have the battalion commander to worry about, which was actually a cousin of mine. Yeah, go ahead.
I was there for Jeff. I was not there for the commander. I was there for Jeff.
Yeah, okay. I got you. But he was the PSD team for our command team, and our command team consisted of a guy named Daryl Johnson from Tennessee, who is loosely one of my relatives, and he's a hard-headed dude, but a very, very awesome guy. I deployed with him multiple times too. And then, you had Jeffrey Palmer, Sergeant Major Jeffrey Palmer, and then the operations sergeant major was Rich Woodring, so who later became the command sergeant major. So those people held them to a very high standard, and we all knew it because that team that was picked to go to that 07 deployment with HHD, this was the first time where MPs were gonna, like, they were talking about being landowners, and they, we had this and we had to run that, and we were operating as, a brigade minus, and even though we were under a brigade, so it was a very special group of people they brought together for this deployment, and the standards that we did and the beautification we did of Pad 15 while you guys were there. I mean, everybody there was top notch, and these guys were the leaders of that, Stephen Cribben and Dusty Rudd. So kudos to you. Hey, Dusty, we're going to step away for a second and pay the bills. But when we do get back, we'll get into, more of your spiral and then some of the healing stuff we're going to talk about. So,
yes, be right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Dusty Rudd, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so you want me to go ahead and pay the bills, or
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Ty, real quick, is Woodring the one who's coming on in a couple of weeks with us?
Yeah.
Is he the one that looks like he invented the knife hand? Like that's the guy?
Yeah, he's
okay. He looks like he invented this. He looks like he invented this move right here. Like what mother? He looks like this guy right here. Like I like him already.
I can still remember him standing on top of the first sergeant's desk, just he would beat the first sergeant's desk up about soldiers' issues. So he was all about the soldiers. He was
double.
Rich Woodring is an amazing sergeant major. So
I'm pumped.
Anyway, let's pay these bills.
Get ready to groove to the electrifying sounds of DJ Royal T, the maestro of mixing who knows how to turn any event into an unforgettable dance sensation. Royalty Entertainment is here to bring you the ultimate musical experience straight from the ones and twos in your ears and through your body to activate them dancing shoes. Get ready to sweat, party, and have a good time while your DJ needs are being blazed by none other than me, DJ Royal T. I have spent years crafting together a DJ entertainment empire that promises a customized blend of musical tracks, mix and mastering, and top quality sound, all while providing a vibrant ambiance to accommodate any of your DJ needs. Royalty Entertainment Services is your premier one-stop shop for top-tier musical entertainment and is hosted by yours truly. For more information, reservations, and booking, feel free to look around the website at godjroyalty.com. I am DJ Royalty, and this has been another Royalty Entertainment production. Yeah.
Got Your Six Culture is a veteran-owned t-shirt company that's making a powerful impact, one t-shirt at a time. These guys are simply badass. Whether you're a proud veteran or a family member or a patriot at heart, you're going to find the perfect tee that speaks directly to your soul. But wait, there's more. When you shop at Got Your Six Culture, you're not just supporting veterans, you're supporting American small business. You're also supporting the dream of veteran-owned small businesses around the world, and these guys put heart and passion into everything through designing all their t-shirts right here in the USA, ensuring you have top-notch quality in every design that you purchase. Show your appreciation for veterans and first responders today, and head over to GotYourSixCulture.com and browse their amazing collection of products. And guess what? Our friends at Got Your Six have a badass treat special for our listeners. Use the code TRIPLETHREAT at checkout and get an exclusive 15% discount on your purchase. So show your support for our heroes of country and community. Shop at GotYourSixCulture.com right now. And don't forget to use the code TRIPLETHREAT at checkout for an additional 15% off. Hashtag same flag, same oath.
So our number one priority is taking care of veterans like you. So just got a couple of bits of paperwork for you to sign. Right? And these.
All of this?
Oh yeah, just a few more. And these.
Don't you have an easier way to do this whole thing?
And these, and we'll be done. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing an existing mortgage, or trying to lower your monthly payment, Veteran Mortgage Solutions have the resources, knowledge, and experience to help. No down payment required. Easy approval process. Minimum 580 credit score, competitively low interest rates, limited closing costs. Don't keep going back and forth proving your income with other providers. Visit VeteranMortgageSolutions.com.
I laugh every time that guy drops all that paperwork on the desk. I'm like, is that dude joining the military or buying a house?
I got a
That's
question.
the first time I'd actually watched that video of the Got Your Six culture. I'm usually like looking down, but good Lord. We need to put one with me with a beard on there. I don't like them triple chins.
You don't like that young buck face.
Yeah,
Shout out to my son Alex. He's on there.
Yeah, he said you invented the knife hand, but he doesn't know that thing was around for a long time.
Yeah, he don't know, but he said he caught a couple of those back in the day.
So I will tell you, Ty, that was from the first golf tournament, right? And we just finished this other one.
Yeah, that was last year. We'll have to update some of those pictures, maybe.
So before we jump back into it, real quick, I just want to tell you guys that we finished calculating everything, and it looks like we're going to be able to donate around $7,000 to the
nice.
Wow,
$7,000 to the Project Zero, and that money goes to allow them to get. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey man, I got a question.
Everybody that came out, everybody that participated, everybody that played, everybody that sponsored, we thank you guys so much, and just get ready to do it again next year, because this is going to be an annual thing for sure.
So I got a question. So that sexy shirt that Al Hero has on right now, that sexy hoodie he has on. Yeah. Are our guests able to get those, or is there any way that we can get any of this Triple Threat Vet podcast paraphernalia?
Well, it's coming soon. I'll tell you that. So you got to be on the lookout for it. We're all, so everybody knows, in the process of working out how we're going to do that, because we need to figure out as a group here, we're all about supporting veterans and their causes and first responders and helping people. So the thing that we've got to really determine and figure it out is who are we going to help when we do this. So just keep on the lookout for it. You'll be able to check them out. And so we'll even have a special shirt for people to buy that, we're going to be famous in our own minds like we are every day. So there'll be some signatures on shirts. It's going to be a good time, but just be on the lookout and support us, because supporting us and supporting Got Your Six and supporting DJ Royalty and even Veteran Mortgage Solutions and our sponsors that are on the podcast, you supporting these guys helps us support other areas that help veterans in more impactful ways, right? Yeah, you're buying a shirt. Everybody needs a shirt. Or even if you purchase a home or you go to a party, like those things are what helps people get through. So supporting us supports them. We just appreciate everybody that does it.
Hey, speaking of that, real quick, you mentioned it was my birthday. Thank you everybody for saying happy birthday. But I woke up in the morning, man. Yeah, I woke up in the morning, man, and we went out in Houston and downtown and fed the homeless. That's how I start off my day, man. And that was very good for the soul. To have people come out there and do that. It makes you realize how fortunate you are, even when you feel like you're not fortunate, right? There's always somebody who's in a worse situation than yourself. So I know for myself, it just made me feel good to do it. I encourage anybody, if you have the time, if you have the mindset that you want to do it, just get out and help any way that you can, whether it's veterans, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's a homeless person, anybody. I just encourage you to do something for somebody else sometimes. And the overwhelming feeling that you get from that is good. It's therapy for sure.
Yeah. And I want to give a personal thank you to Sarah Cobb for opening up Casa de la Cobb to me, right? And that's the funny thing when you talk about veterans in this community. I've met Ty Cobb twice, and he let my dirty ass sleep in his house, right? Opened his doors up to me, took care of me, and then I had an opportunity to go to spend time in the East Wing of the Blake Mansion, the Blake Manor. Time in the East Wing, right? It was pretty awesome. But I definitely want to personally tell Sarah, I really appreciate the hospitality, right? And you opening your door to me. I know we probably drove Ty insane because neither one of us shut the fuck up ever. And we were like all before we looked at Ty's face a couple of times, and he was just looking like, fuck, I need to get out of here.
I'm so quiet, man. I can't get a word in edgewise. Between my son, my two sons, my 4 daughters, and my wife, I ain't talking much, homie. Yeah. I'm just keeping quiet and standing in the corner.
Hey, I want to give Dusty a shout out too real quick before he jumps back on here. And he's got a good looking beard too. You know what I'm saying? The beards do help. So it takes away from his forehead. Like this beard takes away from my big ass schnoz. Like if I didn't have this beard, I have a little tiny baby chin.
I think we got a picture of that though.
Bro, I look like a Russian. I look like I look like I'm fighting Croatia. That's what I look like.
Yeah. We got you.
This nose is built for sex, though. You know what I'm saying? This thing is built for the angles, bruh. Just throwing it out there.
All right, man. Let's bring our boy back on. So before the break, we had gotten in with Dusty, and he was talking about a couple of deployments. Now we're going to bring him back on and get into some more stuff.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
What up, Dusty?
Yeah. Welcome back to the shenanigans that we do.
Yeah, Dusty. Hey, Dusty, I don't care if you're tall or not, bro. You a good looking brother. I'll give you that, man.
I appreciate it.
He's like 14.5% better looking in person too, man. I'm telling you.
Well, 14.5, huh?
14.5%.
That's actually how I look in person. Not how much better looking. I actually look like a 14-year-old if I shave. That's what he's trying to say.
You got to get a couple of those. I guess they don't make them anymore, but normally you had to put those phone books on your seat to kind of like get you up a little bit higher in your seat, so you like on the camera.
Look, we don't suck these fucking short joke down right fucking now.
No, I know your feet are dangling right now.
And they're swinging, but every picture I'm in with all you fuckers, I'm like the little brother. All you fucking assholes.
Hey, did you like how in that post where I put it about the game, I made you and Matt bigger so you look the same size as me and my boy Blake.
Picture from the booth, I look like y'all let somebody's son in there with special needs. Special needs kid, Make-A-Wish Foundation brought me into the booth. I'm like, hey,
that's all right, baby. I blew you up on Canva. You're good to go. Same size as me. All right, Dusty. So we talk about the second deployment. Talk about the second deployment a little bit. What was that like? What kind of things went on there? I mean, I already know, of course, but go ahead, wax poetic a little bit.
So for me, my first deployment was a wash mentally because it didn't really resonate with me what I dealt with from just a laundry list of things. And so because of what we were conditioned for and what the drill sergeants in reality, and I was in basic training when Saddam was captured and when Pat Tillman died and all these things. And my drill sergeants came to me and they conditioned us mentally to understand what we were getting ourselves into. So when I went to war my first time, I was like, let's do this. I was watching, not to feel bad, I was watching the videos that they were sending over from the prisoners. That's what we were doing to condition ourselves to go over to this. So that's where my mind was, my first deployment. My second deployment, I went back at mid-20s, family, like, oh, you survived that. Now you have people that rely on you. Wow. And we had IEDs. I remember when we would have an IED go off and we'd see it land right in front of us, or we'd see it lodge right in front of the gunner in front of us. And you're sitting there going, that's me. That's a millisecond away from being my life, or perfect example, absolutely one of the top-notch greatest humans I've ever dealt with, Rich, shout out. I was with him in a truck. We got hit by an IED. I'm telling you, it seemed like the entire freaking ground rose up around us. The only thing I knew was to back up and just get away from it. But then the secondary thought was, let me go look into it and see what happened. Because that's the common sense factor. Let's go over and go see what just happened to us, and nobody else is going to go do anything else to us. But all that, the one thing I will say out of my second deployment that has resonated with me over everything is seeing a fellow soldier being carried off in 2 body bags.
Wow.
That is something that until you see it and understand and comprehend that black bag and that black bag is the same person, it doesn't hit home until that moment. You may have some issues. You may have a little bit of, standoffish and kind of feel uncomfortable with something and have that anxiety. And until you see that happen, it hits you, and it hits you hard.
Oh yeah.
And I think that my family was a catalyst, but I think that was probably the one that just really just wrecked me, honestly. And not to go into detail, but yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean there, Dusty. You remember Camp Coley right there in Bagram? I held Shane Coley in my hands as we were prepping him out in Shindad to put him in a body bag, and that was literally the most gut-wrenching thing that had ever happened. So I remember when that happened to you, and what I'm trying to do here is basically show that I deployed with this guy. I know how awesome he is. I know the things that he went through. So here's what I really want to get to is after his deployments, he really started to do different things. So Dusty, let's get into that. So what happened to make you start spiraling to where you would need to use psychedelics? So what happened there?
The most condensed version I can give is basically I left a 15-month deployment in Baghdad from all I dealt with there, came back, reset somewhat back in Fort Campbell. And at that time, I came on Horse Drill Sergeant School, went back from Fort Campbell to Leonard Wood with no really reset, not really being able to give myself the time to kind of condense and kind of come down off what happened. And then I was put in a position at Drill Sergeant School into Drill Sergeant duty to where there's no break. There's no break. No matter what anybody says, you're out there, especially for the first 3 weeks, you're out there for 6-7 days a week. You're waking them up at 5:30, which means you got to be up at 3:30. You're putting them to bed at I don't know, I think it was like 8. And then we're still there until, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, trying to reset for the next day. That happened for 2 years.
Wow.
And probably a year into it, I lost it. I started having panic attacks, anxiety attacks. At the time, they thought it was heart rate issues. They put me on a Holter monitor. They put me on, they tested my freaking blood pressure. They tested my freaking heart rate. I took my heart from like in the 40s to 222 on a machine and went from 222 to 113 when they took me off. The doctor's like, dude, it's not your heart. Come to find out, they're like, no, you got severe mental health issues.
Wow.
But it wasn't really something they noticed. My ex-wife was telling me for freaking months and months and months, she's like, you're not the same. You changed from your last deployment. And I'm like, no, I'm the same dude. Meanwhile, I'm going into my house with a pistol, clearing room to room to room before I let my wife and my kids go in the house. And that is not just a one-time incident. I carried on me at all times. I had an incident where somebody ran into the back of my car on the highway and my freaking pistol flew underneath my seat. I grabbed it as the first instinct to shoot the person who just rear-ended me. And my ex-wife was like, that's not normal. And I'm like, right. How is that not normal?
Right.
I carried everywhere. I carried everywhere. And it was like, that was just the start of it all. And it just escalated from there to the point that my unit was tired of dealing with me as a drill sergeant and took me from a drill sergeant that was in charge of soldiers in the training phase to put me as a drill sergeant that was in charge of medical processing soldiers kids that got in medical issues in service and were getting medically discharged out of basic training. And so at that point, they ended up basically just kind of saying, hey, you're a little too much for us to deal with because you're intense. I don't know really, because my cognitive functions weren't there. Like I couldn't do left, right, left with soldiers. I couldn't call cadence. I couldn't do anything because my brain was so far gone from reality that I couldn't have a thought process to instruct somebody from point A to point Z. And so they were like, you're only here at this point just as a body. And then even then I went to my next position before I left drill sergeant duty. And it was just like, I was a body. I became a body probably from the time I left Fort Campbell. In the military thought process, in the military just hierarchy, that's all I was. Now I was good at hiding it. Oh man, I was good at hiding it because I knew the words to say and the way to do things to keep it where it looked like I was functioning. But inside it was a battle. And I didn't even know it was a battle because it was, for me, it was like, oh no, that's just, that's normal. That's nothing. And like I said, Ty, rein me in on where I'm going with this. Because
where you're going is like, what effects did this have on your family and then with the unit?
Well, I got divorced. My unit bumped me into a lesser unit. My ex-wife served me divorce papers, didn't talk to me, basically served me divorce papers, took everything. In my mind, it was like, oh man, it's all her. She's freaking doing this, that, and the other. I was definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
Knowing now, I was definitely a part of it. Now on her end, I don't know. I know what my hand in what I did was. And I ended up getting divorced. You know, my ex-wife moved back to Georgia with my kids. I was in Fort Leonard Wood. So, you know, talk about a powder keg. Let's say, okay, I'm already here. Let's just go ahead and raise them to here as far as where his emotions are. So now he doesn't see his kids, doesn't see his family. He's already mentally unstable. We're going to take everything away from him. And, you know, I became that guy that would work 24-hour duties just to work 24-hour duties because I had nothing else to do. I had no family. I had nothing driving me. Because in my mind, my family, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to support a family. That is my overall, that's the way I was raised. That's the person I am. That's all I know. When I didn't have that just persona and ideal in life, I didn't know what to do. I became a freaking just float. I was just moving around.
Hey, Dusty,
what did you do, Dusty? How did you? I know you dealt with you've done some psychedelic treatments and things. So, you know, all that comes crashing down. And how do you pick yourself up? How did you rebuild Dusty Rudd and get back on the track you're on now?
Yeah.
In service, it didn't happen.
Right.
And I'm as quick as I can say this, I left drill sergeant duty, got to Fort Campbell again. When I got to Fort Campbell, it all crashed down. It literally crashed down. I started stealing because I was chasing thrills when I was in Iraq, like the feeling, the sweat, the adrenaline. I was stealing to steal. I wasn't stealing for any other need than it was just like something to give me that emotion and that feeling. And it literally was nothing I needed. And I got arrested, and then I got arrested again, and then I got arrested again. And my unit was like, they were like, we can't deal with this guy. So they bumped me to a freaking medical processing unit for mental health. My mental health, I spent 72 days in inpatient care for mental health in my service time. At one point in the middle of that, I went AWOL. While they let me out, I went AWOL. They sent me back to the freaking mental health unit. And it was a never ending spiral. I was like, I was crying for help and telling everybody that I am not mentally stable. I'm not functioning like I was. And again, I keep shouting out to Rich, but Rich can say I had 9 years of service where I didn't have a mark on my record for any kind of derogatory statement for 9 straight years. In the course of a year and a half on the end of my career, it went off the rails. And mental health is telling my unit, this guy is acting out directly related to his mental health, PTSD, anxiety, generalized anxiety, all these conditions. Everything that he's doing is directly related to who he has become. And my unit said, nope, he's too much of a problem. We can't deal with him. They ended up booting me out on a freaking other than honorable. They wanted
after all of the oh my God, after
everything. So they wanted to get me for a dishonorable. But I contacted Rich, the guy, the individual, the sergeant major you're having in 2 weeks. And I said, hey, I got to have somebody talk. I got to have somebody talk for me because I can't do this. I'm literally on my own. I'm fighting for my life right now. And I'm telling you right now, if Rich hadn't stepped up, I would have walked out on a Fort Campbell and I would have freaking walked in traffic.
Yep.
Because I had nothing. I went from an E6 to an E4. They freaking cut me like it was nothing.
Hey, Ty. Yeah. Dusty, let me tell you something that I heard and I know it's in my heart, and I know that it's there. The reality is this, my brother. Part of you left in those body bags that were inside of that, in the back of that Humvee or whatever it was that you were in. Because mentally, when you see something like that, and the expectation is that that's where you're going to go in the event that something happens. Mentally, you blocked it away, but subconsciously, a piece of you, of who you were, that protector, that happy-go-lucky guy who's ready to protect everybody, left in that body bag. Even though you didn't die on this side of it, part of you did over there, right? And your pathway was trying to find the other piece of you that left in that body bag that you saw in the back of there. And it happens to a lot. I know for myself, I carried a lot of bodies doing a ceremonial guard. That's my job. I spent thousands of hours at Arlington Cemetery looking at numbers, 1971 to such and such number. You know, all these, as far as you can see, are graveyards. And that's for people who've done that. For you not to get the help that you needed and for somebody to close the door on you mentally, that has to do something. But I'm telling you, my brother, I know just from listening to you that a piece of you left there. And that's what people have to understand when you see veterans, and just because they're not crippled or just because they don't have a missing leg or a missing arm, you know, you look at them like, oh, how are they getting disability? How are they getting this? Why are they getting that? Why do they have a handicap tag in their thing and they're sitting in the front and have the audacity to be like, oh yeah, well, we don't give military discounts here. Those kind of things that we hear that we have to look out like we're asking for some, you know, I can go on a whole nother thing, but I tell you, my brother, my heart is with you. I honestly feel like that is what has happened. If I'm wrong, you guys can help me with that. But man, bro, my heart goes out to you, man. I just want to know. I'm interested now. I know we kind of went on a different path, but I'm interested now to know, because I know this is a good transformation in that. How did you get yourself here to where you're able to smile again?
So, condensed version. When I got booted out, I battled for a while, from homelessness to back into jail again, and bounced around until I met my current wife, who brought me down to Florida, and it kind of started me on a path to kind of figure out what I need to do. Now, granted, I wasn't fixed. I still battled to the point that my ex-wife, or my current wife, my current wife was like, we went through everything. I went through all modalities. I was working because DJ, it was funny. I was working with all my issues. So I'm going through all the stuff that I'm dealing with and still doing a 9-to-5 job. Because why? Because I have to be protector. I have to be that person that pays the bills. I have to be that person because that's who I am. I don't know anything else. So I was willing to give up my mental stability and sacrifice everything about who I was, even though I was wanting to murder people I worked with. Literally, I had to resign from my last job because I told them I was going to kill one of the individuals because I could not function. And this was 2 years ago. And I went and I stopped and I did nothing, but I went into mental health, the VA, and I went through cognitive based therapy. I went through medication. I mean, I went through all modalities. Fight, you're on board, so you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, whether it be the freaking psychological aspect, whether it be the freaking pharmaceutical aspect, whether it be the social work aspect. I did it all. Nothing worked. All of it. And I'm telling you, I reached out. I looked. They were like, "Hey, do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1." Nope, my brain is working. Ain't doing that. Do the, do music that helps you. Not working. And I'm telling you, I've researched. I'm not a stupid person. I researched. I looked at things that were going to help me. So all that didn't work. They had me on medication after medication, and this brings me into February of this year. I said, you know what? I'm sick and tired of these freaking medications. I'm sick and tired of what VA's doing this. I understand they're trying to help in some capacity. It's not doing anything for me. Cut it. I went cold turkey on SSRIs. I have never felt worse in my entire life than when I came off medication. And I told myself, I said, why is something that is supposed to help you causing me to be this uncomfortable, this hurt, this headaches, migraines, freaking. I felt like I was on DTs from freaking heroin coming off of freaking medication. I was over 12. I don't know the prescription. They would ask me how many I'm on. I would literally say, just look at the chart. I do not know right now.
Right. Just take it.
I posted on Facebook. Ty Hughes comments, B Hughes comments and says, hey, do THC, do pot. I'm like, bro, done that, did nothing. A buddy of mine, 194, deployed with him of my first deployment, said, do psychedelics. I saw that message and said,
man, no way.
No, what? It's like, no, I'm good, bro. I'm like, that's not me. But then he sent me a video. He sent me his YouTube video of his experience. I spent 40 minutes watching his YouTube video. And I thought, holy shit, I got to look into this. And I spent 2 months
researching, and I'm talking about I went down into the freaking molecule of what this stuff was and how it worked and how far back it went and how they use it. We're talking 5,000 BC on cave drawings. There are freaking Amazonian, there's freaking peyote. These people have been doing this stuff for so many years, and there's nothing that they've come back and said this is a bad thing. The only thing they've ever said is bad is if you're epileptic or schizophrenic.
Right.
It's not because it's anything that's bad. It's because they don't really want to test it because of the fear of what could happen.
What could happen from it? Right.
Yeah, because if you're schizophrenic and you go into one of these conditions, and you come out of it, that might be your reality for life. So they don't know you. So I looked into it. My buddy sent me information. He lives in Tulum, Mexico. Ball, and I said, all right, I'll check into it. And I canceled myself in my mind. I said, nope. And then I did it again. I said, I'm going to do it. Nope, I'm not going to do it. And I finally said, I'm doing this. And I graduated after 9 years of going to college and degree after degree after degree failing and not knowing what was going to be my path. I finally finished my degree and got a bachelor's degree in May of this year. A week later, I got on a plane and flew to Cancun, Mexico. Got a rental car and drove from Cancun, Mexico to Tulum. When I tell you that was the most anxious I have ever been in my entire life. That area I was driving in brought me back so much to Iraq. I'm driving with a baseball.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So you're going to get healed and you have some severe PTSD on the road?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm literally looking anybody that's driving around me in Mexico. There's no left, right, center line. It's wherever you drive is where you drive. So I'm having flashbacks of Iraq, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm here again. And so I'm like in cartels, all of this stuff. Oh my God, what have I got myself into? I'm driving in the middle of nowhere to go and do something I don't know what I'm doing. But it's that healthy fear, man. It's that healthy fear that drove me. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm here. I've fought it. I'm doing it. Showed up. My buddy picked me up the next morning, took me there. Bro, when I tell you, there's a lot of agencies out there that are working with veterans and psychedelics. And there's a lot of screenings. And they're doing blood pressure. They're doing testing. They're doing a lot of things right now. This was on me. This was something that I picked up shop and went and did. I'm not saying I'm out in the middle of freaking, the wilderness doing anything. It was centralized, but it was still off the grid. Caleb showed up with me. He came with me. He drove me. He videoed the entire thing. I showed up to this sanctuary, man, to do 5-MeO DMT, 5-methoxy dimethyltryptamine. It's within the tryptamine family, kind of the same things in the turkey. There's DMT, then there's 5-MeO DMT. People talk about ayahuasca. The guy that you showed the video of, Dustin, he did DMT. What I did, and this is just for context, is 10 to 20 times more potent than what you did. When you're talking pyramids of psychedelics, 5-MeO DMT is the neutron bomb of it all. It is an absolute shockwave to your body, and it hits you, and you don't have any other option than to take it. And the only upside is it's a half-life of about 12 to 19 minutes. So there's no high after the fact. There's no lingering effects other than lucid dreams on night 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever it happens. I went under, and when I tell you I took a hit, I'm not good with pot. I'm not good with smoking. I went under, and I was like, this isn't for me. I'm sitting there kind of like, okay, kind of hearing all the music. This is not working. Because you hold it for 10 seconds. You inhale this. It comes from this Sonoran river toad. It's only one frog out there, one toad out there that has this. It is a secretion off of its back that they take, they crystallize, and then you smoke it out of a pipe. It's something
you smoking frog back.
You smoking toad.
Is this what Mike Tyson talks about when he says taste the frog or whatever?
I'm telling you right now.
I had no idea until just now.
Mike Tyson. Iron Mike went from Iron Mike to this dude that you see him on podcast.
Oh yeah. Sensitive Mike.
He explained that. So you started doing your second hit, and then how that
my first didn't hit because I woke up and the guy was like, "How do you feel?" I'm like, "Present." He said, "You didn't get it." He said, "You need another smoke." My brain says, "No, My brain was like, nope. But if that wasn't what I was supposed to get, no, I'm not doing it again. He said, you need no smoke. So my brain said no. My mouth said, yeah.
Yeah. So he was
and
like,
so I took the hit, man. I took it, and I'm telling you, I didn't even last the 10-second. The first time he amplified the dose. I'm talking glass pipe, freaking blowtorch, crystallized freaking toad venom.
Toad sperm.
Serious. You're in the TP and it's full on. This is what you're doing with your life right now. And I sat back, and when I sat back, dude, before I could close my eyes, everything around me went from the TP to this freaking haze of green, and then it just kind of freaking pixelated, and then you're just down. And then you were shot off like a freaking rocket. And I can't give a context completely because it's not a human feeling. And I'm telling you that it is not a human feeling. It is not a human emotion. It is more that you are one with everything. Every dimension, everything in the earth, everything that's ever been, you were one with.
The Spider-Verse.
Right.
It is absolutely, and I just exploded. And I became this ball of energy or light, or just I was a neutron, and I was just shooting up. And I remember, and I just went. And when I went, it was one of those things that when everything was going on, I kept trying to break through. And when I was breaking through, it was this cloud coverage, and it was clouds that were dark and ominous, and it was orange and freaking red and black and lightning. And you're just sitting there trying to fight it. And as I'm fighting it, everything in me is dying. Everything, emotions, pain, heartache, just telling you, let go. And I just kept hearing, let go. And I just kept hitting a blockade and over, and I could not get through the clouds. I could not make it. And my body is vibrating and freaking just like there's this pulsation that's going on around me. And it's just like, time is nothing. You were absolutely you were there. And it is nothing that you can imagine or explain or give context to. And I finally let go. And when I let go, people talk about an ego dissolution and ego death and all these things that happen within these psychedelic experiences.
Yeah.
Ego death. I let go of all the pain, all the thought processes, all the things that were freaking vain and held on to me, and how I thought about people felt about me, or how I cared about that person, or how much hate I had for them, or how much I was holding on to from my past. It was nothing. You were one with everything, and you could only understand that because you were literally taken away from all that heartache. And when I tell you, it's like when people talk about out-of-body experiences, the DMT is in your body. You experience it twice in your life. You experience it at birth and at death. That is the only time other than near-death experiences. It's in the pineal gland, and it's not normally released into your body. That is why the half-life of it is so small. It's because it's released into your body, and it's taken back immediately. So when you're in a car accident and you're a near-death experience, that's what you see. I broke through. When I finally broke through, it was like the Teletubbies. That's the only thing I can relate it to. It was like the show The Teletubbies. Yeah. Remember the freaking sun.
The sun come out, and the little son and the little baby laughing inside the sun.
That was my daughter.
Wow.
It literally, my daughter's face hit me. And it was like, wow. That's what matters. What I did, the medicine I did, it didn't necessarily, whatever the heartache, whatever that, Iraq, combat, whatever happened, it has context. But the medicine shows you what's your barrier and what you're blocking out in your life. I was never present in my life in any capacity. I was letting my past rule my present, and my present was fearful of my future. And there was nothing. And that is so many veterans' lifestyle. We are living from what has happened to us, which causes us to think about what is going to happen to us. That doesn't let us revolve around what is going on at the time.
Right now.
That hit me and showed me. And it was like a black aura and a soul snatching black cloud. Literally, I saw it pulled out of my body of all the pain, anguish, and heartache of my life was taken out of me, and I saw it happen. And
wow.
And that's the most human definition I can actually give, because outside of that, it is so much more powerful and intense to explain.
Man, that's crazy, because the only other time I've heard somebody say something like that, I had a friend of mine who said he was messing with a big old chick. She had no teeth in her mouth, and he gave her some, and he had a lot of experience. But yours is way better than that story, man. Shout out to yours. Yours is way better than that one ever was, bro. I'm at the edge of my seat like, whoa.
I tell you, I got sidetracked. I started listening to you, Dustin, and you know me pretty well, so you know that I don't listen for very long. But I was completely enthralled, and I had you on the screen like that. I'm sorry, brother.
Bro.
I was just listening to the damn story. I know you, and that was an amazing story.
Hell with Snoop Dogg, man. Shouts out to the frog back. We smoking frog backs from now on.
I'm about to go just beat off a frog in the backyard and get some frog sperm right now to make me forget about that.
I will say this. Stay away from toads. There is one singular toad.
Fuck you, Dustin. I'm going out. I'm licking toes this weekend, bro. That's not toes. Toes. I suck toes all the time. I'm licking toes, bro.
Everybody's sucking toes. Do not, and I will say this, and this to context everything. What I did was an experience I had to do for myself. For somebody that is dealing with something that's smaller, or I'm not saying smaller, but for somebody that's dealing with this and hearing what I'm saying, this is not something for everyone. This is not something recreational. This is not something that you're going to go out. This is something you're called to. This is something that literally there is, whether it be you're going for growth, learning something. There are avenues that mine was for a whole different thing. Yeah. This is like somebody saying, I need to get mental health, and going from walking to a marathon in 2 days. This is not something that, I mean, I'm telling you, there are psychedelics out there when they talk about
levels of this shit.
The equivalent of what I did, if you're talking mushrooms, when you're talking mushrooms, 30 milligrams of mushrooms to even get close to what I did. The heroic dose to get you tripping is 5 on. I never did anything psychedelic in my life.
Right.
This was day one for me. That's how far gone I was.
So that's Becky Johnson has a question for you there, Dusty. Let me put it on screen here for you.
Gotcha.
I know you said this flipped a switch. Would you ever, or will you ever need to take such a high potency again?
So having said that, Ty, refresh my brain on who the guy was that you posted the video on. Justin?
Oh yeah, Justin. Yeah, from a combat veteran comedy troupe.
Yep. So I am actually in talks right now with a company or a nonprofit called Heroic Hearts, who does ayahuasca retreats in Mexico, Peru, and Jamaica. I'm on a standby list right now for November, and there's also one that I'm a hard list for February. But my wife's pregnant, due March timeframe, so February. I don't want to get too far lost in Peru, and a couple weeks later my wife gives birth. So I don't know. We're kind of looking at it, but I am looking into ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is 10 to 20 times less potent than what I did. It's a ingestible, and it lasts for 8 hours or so, where mine lasted for about 19 minutes because it's in your system. And because there's an MAO inhibitor that blocks what lets it go into your body briefly. And so when you drink the ayahuasca, it causes that trip to last longer. And that's a 3-part process. And mine is more for growth to see if there is something more than I was trying to understand. Because what the medicine showed me from my last experience was my family. Being present with my wife, being present with my daughter, understanding reality is what it is, and you're okay. You've seen death. You're gonna die. You're okay with it. Everybody, the biggest thing that I took away from all this was let go. I'm gonna get it tattooed on me at some point. I'm gonna get a goldfish and let go tattooed on me, because a goldfish has a memory like nothing, and let go is all but I will go back and do it. I've been trying to do more, but the problem is obviously within the United States and laws and legality, there's a lot of issues when it comes to that, unless you go to Oregon, Massachusetts, Colorado, some of those other states that have some kind of, but most of those are psilocybin or MDMA trials. Those are different. Those are a whole different spectrum from what I did. Not saying they're anything different, but it's a different experience than what I went through. This is not something that somebody goes and just shows up for and says, let's just roll the dice.
Let's just try this out. Right. So were you different right away as soon as you came back? Like after the Teletubby son went away and you saw your daughter in there and everything kind of came back, would you say that you were healed at that point, or did you still have some work to do?
So in life, there's no 100% 180.
Right.
You're not going to be 180.
Right.
But what I was given is that blockade was busted because you were given so many blockades, whether it be from military service, trauma, whatever. It blocks you out from healing and understanding what reality is. And you go into this matrix and this box of emotion that this is the only reality that I know. And so anything outside of it is not going to happen. And for me, what happened is it's like a freaking clock. And when that pendulum is going from left to right, for me, that pendulum swayed right and stayed right. It starts to kind of go to the center. And then my thought process goes, that negativity ain't real, dude. And I go, oh yeah, it ain't.
It's not.
Go back to the right.
Wow.
You have that power. You were given the power back in your life to understand that you have control over your emotions. Your emotions can't control you, which is what they have done for so long when it comes to trauma and depression. And I'm telling you, as a drill sergeant, the first step is that left step. And if you take that left step, everything past that is going to happen. You got to take that step first.
There you go. My man.
Damn,
that's
awesome.
Amazing.
That's pretty
amazing, man.
I licked a homeless stripper's ass one time, and I felt the same way. Like, it was crazy.
I shouldn't laugh at that. I should not.
I was a stripper for a brief time, by the way.
Were you? You look. I want to be a midget.
Hey, y'all didn't ask the questions, but I didn't want to. But that was part of my downward spiral. I was a brief stripper.
You let go, huh?
Dusty, me and Dustin. I got a job for us, bro. We can go on. We could DJ. Royalty can DJ for us, and we could be midget strippers or little people strippers. I don't want to offend nobody if you're a midget out here, or a little person watching us. But yeah, bro, me and you could be like little midget strippers, bro. I'm down.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
With the little short pole, me and you.
Yeah, no.
I've been using the Sonic drop, the 44 ounce. That's what I use as the stripper pole and straw.
Yeah. The Route 50, Route 55. Yeah.
Dusty, my man.
Now your story's awesome, brother. I really appreciate you sharing.
We appreciate that, man. I think that opened some eyes, just what you've been through, the experience that you went through. I commend you for getting the help, being willing to go through all of those anxieties, taking that trip and doing what you did to find that help. And I'm happy that it worked for you. I'm happy that you were able to see your family. You know, if that was the vision, is to see your family, be present in your family's life, and just push forward to do better, because you made a decision that you weren't going to keep on chasing that body bag, that you were going to go ahead and zip that thing off and realize that you weren't in there. You're still here. And man, I'm going to tell you right now, I know that you're a good friend of Ty's, but man, I do want to, I want to meet you in person. I know there's some things that we can talk about and hang out, man, but you're a great person, man. I'm a good people person, but just for you to be able to open up and tell your truth and give that to the world so that they can be educated on it. It was amazing, man. You had me at the edge of my seat, man, but I wish you all the best. And I'm glad that helped. Well, I hope that it helped someone else.
The strength that it took to do that, Dusty, is pretty impressive, considering
Absolutely.
There's so many veterans out here, right, who need help and are begging for help, whether they're doing it vocally or verbally, right? They're screaming for help, and they don't have either the strength, right, or the support system to. And I'm not saying, like you said, psychedelics aren't for everybody,
right?
The strength it took to say, you know what, like, I'm in a bad spot. I'm in a really dark. I'm living in a dark cloud, and I don't see a way out, right? Other than some of the stuff you were doing, but to have the strength, bro, and just the mental fortitude and just that drive to go get yourself help, not just for, your family, but for you, right? To be the guy sitting on this podcast today, talking to us, smiling, and probably, like you said, 2 years ago, you would not be the same man sitting on this podcast talking to us. It'd be a different ball game if you were still here, right, bro? Because that happens. People, we get to a place where, and I'm sure me and Ty have talked in detail when I was at the house, we all get to a place where it's like this world and everyone in it is way better off without us in it, right? But to have that strength and that desire to go do what you did, bro, so impressed.
And that accountability with each of you.
Like
I've become accountable to Matt for a lot of things about my personality that I don't like. I've made it a point to do that, like, because I have a very bad temper, and Matt's helped me with that.
I don't see it, Ty.
I do,
bro. Well, you were in it.
Here's the thing. Here's something. Check this out. So last night, Matt got to see a whole different side of me. Like, he got to see the emotional.
He got to see the Barry.
Yeah, because what I did, like all those deployments that I did, the 7 deployments and with 716th MP Battalion, I would hide all of my emotions in music. Like everybody was saying, like, let the bodies hit the floor. Man, I had a fucking playlist that was longer than I just don't know what, because over that amount of deployments,
not that long, but
you accumulate a lot of emotions, and I put every one of those into music. So when I hear certain songs, it brings back those memories. But I've gotten it to a point now to where they're good memories. Yeah, I remember the good things, because I remember going through hell with Rudd about some issue, or with Sergeant Major Woodring about some lost issue, with Berto about some issue. Y'all better run if you see a pile of trash in the middle of the room.
Hey, Berto, I almost called you. I was in a truck with Ty. And I was a little nervous. Really, I was. Like, we were walking out of the building, and shit didn't go the way that Ty wanted it. And like Ty's face, and he vented a little bit, but I was like, this motherfucker might snap and fuck my little ass up. And I think I'm a pretty tough dude. But I was like, he looked at me and was like, this is I'm really frustrated. I was like, oh shit. I'm about to call a fucking Uber back to Pensacola, because I don't want Big Ty to blow. You know what I'm saying? He when he just told me he was frustrated, I was like, oh shit's about to get real.
Well, but you also learn though, Al, like between the 4 of us that are on here, right? So Ty can tell you that he works on his stuff all the time. But the one thing that I know about Ty is, if you're his friend, he trusts you and he knows you have his well-being at hand. When you say something to him that you're like, what are you doing right now? You can see Ty kind of back up and go, okay, wait a minute, I need to think for a minute. But Ty will only do that, I promise you, if he knows you and he trusts you. If somebody else was to say that to him, then it's like almost
the bear
like
comes out.
Yeah, you're attacking it. So Ty, for as much as you say you work on it, I appreciate that you're willing to stand back and kind of take a look at those things and allow your friends to help you. That's an important thing. Just going through all of it. I mean, the story today was amazing. Like, there's not much you can say more than everybody else has, but I'm glad that you're here to tell the story, Dustin.
Yeah, bro.
It's one that needs to be heard for sure.
Absolutely.
I was thinking though, as we get towards the end of this though, Scott, isn't there like some questions he needs to answer? I mean,
Yep. He does.
For him.
Yeah, are we gonna put him in the hot seat or no?
Well, bro. He'll get a free pass. He'll get a free pass because he's good looking. Fuck that. Even good looking dudes get ugly dudes and good looking get the same business, bro. You get it. Everybody get this business.
All right,
let's do it.
I'm gonna give him the hot seat.
Let's do it.
Get my pen.
And so segue into this though, Scott and everybody on here, you've heard him talking, man. He knows a little bit about a little bit. So be careful, Dusty, because Scott will get your ass.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out here.
Scott needs to get a fucking hobby. That would he.
All right, so just to be in all fairness, I'm gonna keep some of these the same. Okay. Just to be in fairness, I might change up just a couple just for the premise. But first off, we're gonna go right into it. Tupac or DMX?
We're talking.
However you want to.
I'm gonna say DMX because of show.
DMX.
If we're talking on stage, I'm gonna say DMX.
All right. Dave Chappelle, Cat
Williams. Chappelle.
Good choice. This is my favorite. LeBron James, Michael Jordan.
No, you didn't. Oh my God. I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. I'm not even going to say it. It's Michael. Sorry. I checked out after The Last Dance, bro. Let's go.
There you go.
Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. For whatever reason, you choose.
I'm going to say Megan Thee Stallion. She got her degree, man.
Okay.
Damn, I thought she had a GED.
She's educated from H-Town.
She's educated, man.
Super Bowl, NBA Finals.
I'm going to say Super Bowl.
Okay. Xbox, PlayStation.
I got an Xbox, so I mean, let's be real.
Did you say Atari? Did he say Atari?
I like that.
I mean, are we playing Pong? I don't know. What do we got?
However you want to do it. Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Muhammad, man. The greatest.
Okay. Here we go.
I'm sorry.
All right. This one right here is going to be really different just based off of what we talked about.
Y'all should probably go side by side on this one.
I know what's going up.
Okay. Young Dusty before the military or Dusty now?
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That part.
I'm going to go with right now, man. Wisdom. Freaking it's growth, wisdom, and and the wherewithal to understand that life has happened and take that knowledge and that little bit of ability you still have and do something with it, as opposed to just absolute ability and no knowledge.
I like it. Yeah, that's a good one, because you know what, there wouldn't be any of the new Dusty without the old Dusty. You know what I mean? So I like that. I'm glad you thought that one through. Some people just shoot that one real fast. I like that. All right. Move on or ask for forgiveness.
I'm gonna go in the middle on this one, and I'm gonna say this because forgiveness is for you, not the other person. So there is forgiveness of others and understanding that you still deal with them in reality. And if they want to be a part of that, that's on them. You let them know that that's not a problem and that you are who you are. And if they want to accept that and move into a healthy relationship with you, that's great. If not, no ill will, no harboring. It's acceptance of what life is. And you deal with your life how you can, because you don't linger. Moving on to forgiveness, I think are two separate things, but I also think they're the same thing. Because if you forgive those that have wronged you and then you move on, it's in their court now, not yours.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. Okay. I'm all about fuck him. I like
I wasn't saying that. By no means was I saying that.
If you had a choice on being a #1 country singer or a rock and roll star, which one would you be?
I want to say rock and roll.
Dan, you're from Georgia. I'm cutting
off.
I'm out of here.
Hold on. You know he had to say rock and roll because he got that Brett Michaels headband kicking today.
Hey, poison all the way, baby. But no, it's that. If we're talking old school country, we're talking like Randy Travis. We're talking like back in there. See, they didn't live that good life. But see, there's always been a rock and roll mind frame that's always been living it up. The only ones that are country music living it up are the ones right now that think they're rock and roll.
Facts.
That's the difference.
Facts.
Nice.
Morgan Wallen is cookie cutter. All these kids
country wasn't cool, baby.
Okay.
Look at Megan. I nailed it.
I'm growing the hair. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a big one.
It's a big one. Prince or Michael Jackson?
Prince.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my
number one MC of all time. Don't care.
So
what
I'm talking about.
He
did everything in a band better than anybody that ever did it.
Sorry. You talk about lyrics.
Yeah,
look in his house
speechless.
when
That
that
never
man
happened.
died. How many songs that man had that weren't even listed? Album after album. Best entertainer ever. I was waiting for that question. Thank you.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Man, stop the jump.
I never heard anybody retort back on the DJ Royalty hot seat. That's something new right there.
That's crazy right there. I'm at a loss for words on that one. All right. So.
Oh, my bad.
My last one. If you were Chris Rock at the night of the Oscars and Will Smith came down and slapped the shit out of you like he did, do you A, react the way Chris Rock did, or do you B, go after his ass for what he did to you? Think about the stage. Think about the stage.
No. Now you got to remember the lifestyle I've lived, the person I am, who I am as a stature wise. I've taken it all on the chin, literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
I like that long con. I love that long term. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did. He waited.
Yeah, he waited.
He could have done a number of things, but Chris sat back and said, "I'm gonna take it."
That special that he had, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
The live one.
It was just
Give it up to my man.
I mean, you're talking about a Mac drop.
Yeah.
Give it up to my man Dustin, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You did well, buddy.
You did well.
That's one of the best ones so far. It's gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard to beat.
All right, let's get into these picks.
Here we go.
All right, last week, A&M beat Auburn 27-10.
Why'd you have to put the score on there, Ty? Come on, man. That's disrespectful,
he
man.
did that shit on purpose, Scott. You know he did.
I had to. I mean, I did every other week too.
I guess you're being consistent.
I was so close.
Oregon beat Colorado 42-6. Georgia beat UAB 49-21. UK handled Vanderbilt 45-28. And of course, FSU beat Clemson 31-24.
I only lost one game. I know that's right.
Me too.
Yeah,
I lost one picking with Scott. I'll never fucking do that again.
Well,
I think Georgia learned the first half.
It worked out for you last. It worked out for you the week before.
It did.
Yeah, that was bad.
And that's why people don't bet. Or should.
Right, so where we stand in the standings right now before we
here's where we stand right now. Matt and Scott are 16-4. Me and Al are 17-3. All right, so here we go. Who's first?
Who went first last time? They don't go first this time.
I went first last time
because he was kicking our ass.
Who went first last time?
I did.
All right, I'll go first. Texas A&M versus Arkansas. I'm going Texas A&M. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this is going to make your seats hot, but it's not going to make mine hot. I'm taking Colorado over USC. With my chest out, I'm going to say it because I just believe that you're not going to see the same thing that you saw twice in a row. I've never seen Deion get his butt kicked back to back. I'm sticking with it. I'm taking Colorado versus USC. I said again, Colorado versus USC. I'm taking Colorado. I am going to take Georgia over Auburn.
Yeah.
Ooh, UK versus Florida.
That's a good one.
Tough one.
I just need one thing, Ty. What was the score of that last UK Kentucky game? Just go back one.
I think they won 30.
42-20
or something like that.
So they're putting up some points.
Yeah, they got a brand new offense coordinator, new quarterback. They do have a pretty good offense.
All right.
I'm selling them Kentucky Wildcats.
I'm sticking with Kentucky. And for the BYE versus FSU, I'm taking Florida State University once again.
Who the fuck is BYE? I thought it was
they were on a bye.
I thought it was BYU.
Who the fuck is BYE? Is that a high school? Or are they
no,
on a
FSU's bye? No, FSU's on a bye. So
so then who are we gonna pick?
I don't know.
I thought that was BYU.
Bring that up during our production meeting.
Dusty, what's your team?
Notre Dame.
Dusty, what's your team?
Notre Dame. Well, I'm saying pick the Duke Notre Dame game.
Okay, yeah, let's do that one. We'll go that way.
Duke Notre Dame. Ooh, wait.
That's the day game.
All right, you know what? Because your name is Dusty, and I was on the call with my man Rusty, and Rusty is a Notre Dame fan. I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. I'm riding with my man Rusty. You know what I'm saying? From Balfour Beatty, I'm riding with my OG Rusty, and I'm gonna go. That's where I'm going. That's my pick.
So you got A&M.
I got you locked in, Scott.
Yep. A&M, Colorado, Georgia, Kentucky, Notre Dame, right?
Notre Dame. I don't know nothing about Notre Dame, but I'm
and
going.
You love the left side of the leaderboard.
I do.
Who's up?
Go ahead, Al.
A&M, USC, Georgia, UK, Notre Dame.
Slow down, Tito. You went by that real fast. Slow down there. What'd you say?
Texas A&M.
And what's the second one?
USC.
What? Okay.
Georgia, UK, Notre Dame.
So, quick question. You say USC because what? You think they're going to get beat like they did against Oregon?
Oh, yes.
You think it's going to be worse?
I think it'll be worse. Oh, no. No, I think it'll be worse. But they finna catch that double L.
Okay. All right. Matt J.
So Arkansas surprised some people this weekend, and LSU had to come down to the end to beat them. And LSU's a good ass football team.
Average.
Texas A&M's quarterback got hurt last weekend, and they had the backup in. But that guy, he's pretty good as well. That's
BJ, son.
Yeah, oh my goodness, man. That's a tough one to pick. It is for sure. But I'm gonna go with Texas A&M, and I'm gonna tell you why right now. Because if I don't go Texas A&M, I'm gonna get.
You're gonna have to come sleep over here.
You ain't get no booty if you take Texas A&M.
I do believe Texas A&M is going to win. I think they're going to pull it out. I think what you're going to find is they're going to have a new quarterback this week. Colorado, USC.
Go ahead. I ain't going to be mad at you. Go ahead.
I'm going to have to go USC. And the reason I'm going USC is because the type of game that they had last week, I'm just thinking that Colorado may come in with such a chip on their shoulder that it's going to take a while for them to get moving. And they're going to go in there chippy, right? They're going to go in there angry. And USC has been playing pretty lights out here in the first part of the season. I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think USC is going to pull it out.
Okay.
Georgia's going to destroy Auburn. Kentucky, Florida. I'm going to go with Florida because Florida also surprised everybody with Tennessee. And I think that Kentucky's playing well, but Kentucky was right at the same point that Tennessee was when Florida played Tennessee, and they kind of sent that message. So if they let them running backs run loose, Kentucky's going to have a hard time with that. So I think Florida's going to win, and then I'm taking Notre Dame.
All right. Got you locked in, Matt. I've got Arkansas, USC, Georgia, UK, and Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, he says.
Yep.
All right, my man, Dusty, you in the building?
You up, baby?
Come on,
man. Okay, so we're gonna go with KJ Jefferson up in Arkansas. He's gonna take it. Jimbo Fisher is not gonna handle that. After that freaking battle they have with Auburn, it's going to go to Arkansas.
Okay.
Colorado is going to get it at home. USC is notorious for staggering around every single year and getting out there and losing to somebody that everybody else said they ain't going to lose to. They've been dabbling in it. They should have lost to Arizona State last week. Colorado's going to win.
Georgia, Auburn.
I'm a Georgia fan.
Man, Dusty's coming hard. Damn, son.
I'm a Georgia fan.
Let's do this.
Bro, my entire family is all analysts. That's what they did for their life. My son's an analyst.
Okay.
Georgia, we're going to not play in the first half because we don't know how to play in the first half. We're allergic to the first and second quarter for some reason. We're going to scratch it out because Hugh Freeze is going to come in there with a freaking chip on his shoulder. We're going to pull it out. It's going to be by about a touchdown, maybe 10 points. Because we ain't got a quarterback that's set himself up yet for it.
So they're going to do what they did against South Carolina, is what you're saying.
Bobo. That is the reason that we cannot figure out what we're doing. Having said that, where's that game at UK, Florida? Is that at UK?
No, it's at Florida.
It's in the swamp.
In the swamp, baby.
They're giving too much credit to that Florida D. They really are. That's going to be UK. And I'm going to tell you right now, Duke takes it. Duke at home.
Dusty did tell everybody when he started and throughout that he's really smart, so I could see why he would pick Duke.
Yeah.
I tell you what, that Duke quarterback, I was saying this the other day,
legit.
Duke quarterbacks are always like the most technically sound quarterbacks with the best footwork, the best vision. It seems like they're all that stereotypical 6'3", 6'4", 215 pounds. And every time you see a Duke quarterback, they look great on the field. I know they don't win all the time, but fundamentally they're always pretty amazing. Yeah, exactly.
They make it into the boardroom, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well. Yeah.
I mean, it's Notre Dame beat Ohio State. Hands down, Notre Dame beat Ohio State, but then they beat themselves after that. Mm-hmm. That's what happened. I mean, Brian Day needs to – you going to come after an 86-year-old man? I mean, Lou Holtz is the king of act like you've been there before. And just – I'm sorry. Don't go after an old man. Don't go after an old man. Just when you're – congratulate your boys. Say your quarterback played great. Say your O-line helped you out, and then roll on.
Yeah.
Well, let's see who went against their pick this week with
I did.
Okay. I already picked that they were going to lose. All right.
Everybody
pretty good
there. Al went against their pick. If you look at it, or actually you didn't go against yours. You did, but Scott went against his, and Al he's going to stick with his for the rest of the year, I think.
So some of our future guests we got coming up here, 5 October. Who we got there?
My man Dan Street.
A-Town.
Looks like another Georgia boy. God, that's 3 weeks.
He's another Georgia one, man.
That's College Park's finest, baby. CPT in the house.
I should be coming live from Mexico.
On 12 October, Matt and I talked to Eric Knowles. We're going to have him on the podcast with the Article 15 comedy tour. He's a Marine veteran. He's going to come on and talk about the comedy tour. So we're excited to hear his story and see where this comedy tour goes. And then on 19 October, we got mine and Rudd's command sergeant major. I knew him as a platoon sergeant, acting first sergeant. He went to Germany to be a first sergeant, came back with an operations sergeant major and command sergeant major for the 769th MP Battalion. He's going to be our guest on 19 October.
Daddy knife hand.
And then we just got this confirmed today. Me and Matt had talked, and Laura Murray is going to come on 2 November. She is the founder of the Rescue for PTSD. Basically, what this organization does is they get service dogs for veterans for free. They will either train your dog, they will get you a dog to train, and they also have a fostering possibility. So you can foster a dog that's in training in order to help it get trained, and then they'll give it to a veteran service member afterwards. So we'll have her on 2 November. And then I don't have a picture yet, but 9 November, we're going to have, who is this here, Matt?
So me and Al know these guys really well. I think Scott knows Rudy. I don't know if you know Christian, but Christian was in recruiting for a long time. But Christian Stover and I pretty much started together and ended recruiting together. So he was a lieutenant in 03 when I was at E5, second class. And then we met again with Al in New Orleans for recruiting. And that at that point, we went our separate ways, but we've known him for a long time. Great leader, good guy. And then he's going to be joined by the legendary Christopher Rudolph, another guy that ran with Don Massey for a little bit in Miami. They were in the gun show every day.
Rudy.
Buy the tight shirts and move their arms around so they could show the guns. But two guys there, people that I know Al will probably speak to it as well. Scott, if you know them, like they're guys that they're just like Don Massey. They're just like Sergeant Major Wood. They're people that are going to come on and give you things that will help you. But they're people they were amazing to work for. I can't wait to talk to them.
I owe those two guys a big part of my career. Those guys are impressive.
Yeah.
All right, that's a lot of fun, guys. I really appreciate this. Rudd, I really appreciate you coming on, guys. I'm glad you got to meet
love you,
Rudd
brother.
and hear Rudd's story. Hey, Rudd, can you tell me a little something before we let you go here about the Veterans Center, and then maybe talk about what that thing you have possibly come up with the ayahuasca?
Yeah, so I'm currently a volunteer based on school right now because God knows I'm trying to find something to do as far as a job. I'm volunteering at the vet center 3 days a week, and I work with a vast majority of Vietnam veterans, and they come in, and every single one of these guys is dealt with. And I'm not saying this by any means to pull away from anybody else, but every single one of those guys deserve, guys, girls, whoever deserves 100% disability. They deserve every single bit of mental health care that they can get. And they are afraid to do it because they were treated so poorly for so many years and were never advocated for. And I got these guys coming into me, talking to me all the time. And the internal thought process, when one of these guys talks to you, it's like, this guy's elderly and they're going to talk to me about that is not these people, man. They are seriously interesting individuals. And it really, I'm telling you, if I've never ever found anything in my life that has made me feel better after talking to somebody, it's every single time one of these guys checks into the desk and asks me a question or checks in. I work with these guys, like I said, 3 days a week, and there's not enough advocacy for these people, whether it be from that era going forward. But they're going to have about 27% of Vietnam veterans are going to make it to 90. They're not. It's just not going to happen. And I'm going to say about the ayahuasca retreat, and I want to say one more thing, and I'll cut me off. I'm looking into this ayahuasca retreat with Heroic Hearts. Heroic Hearts is founded by a 75th Ranger Regiment individual that is now advocating with Congress to get psychedelics on the docket for veterans, whether it be to the VA or just in general to these states. Now, the psychedelics he's looking at is MDMA and psilocybin, which is MDMA is the ecstasy, whatever you want to call it, and psilocybin is the mushrooms. It's not the level of what I did. It is more of a functionality and sustainable thing, kind of like the SSRIs and the medications that the VA does. It's something like that, but they are really pushing hard for this. And this company that I work with is extremely good. I just got off my call on Monday with the pharmacist, and she asked me questions about what I would want to do. It was really informative, and it's such a great experience. It's 3 ayahuasca ceremonies in the course of 5 days in the Peruvian jungle. You are in it. And there's no faking it. You're going into this and you're going to live that life. I am trying to start a center for adults with special needs because I know how much issues I have and I can convey my problems. There are individuals that test out of high school that are disabled, whether it be autism, Asperger's, Down syndrome, that cannot convey how they feel and how they are. And they go home and they don't have any kind of thing to do. And I'm going to start a facility for where they can go interact with people that have the same interaction and feeling and emotions that they do. And they can work at a concession stand and give back to each other while they're making money. That is something I'm going to do on my own, but I do want to reach out and find a nonprofit for myself to give back to veterans, to also take them on retreats in the same capacity of what I did. And not only do the retreat, but then go and do excursions around the area, almost as if it was like a cruise, to where you engulf yourself in the environment while you're there. You don't just go and come back and reset into an environment. You go, you involve yourself with that community, you feel it, and then you come back home and bring what you have.
My man. That's what
I think we lost Al there. Maybe his power went out. It looked like.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Dusty, for my end of what you just said you want to do, I know that we're at the end of it, but stuff like that, special needs runs deep in our family. I mean, we have family members that have autism and they would benefit well from something like that. So I'm in. If you want help or there's anything I can do to help you get that off the ground, please reach out to all of us here at the podcast. We'd love to help you and make that a reality, because that's just something that is needed. And it's just, and those worlds would be just like veterans, man. People don't understand it, but they need help. And it just takes guys like you that know that help is given. And as long as you take it, it'll go well. And I'm in. I want to help.
Yep.
It's all about that.
Yep. Like they say, the 2 most important days that you're ever going to have is the day that you're born and the day that you figure out why. That's the key. My man Dustin.
In between.
Yep.
My man Dustin, you right here, brother. I appreciate you coming out. This is the Triple Threat Vet Podcast. You were live with my man Dusty Rudd, my new bud, in the building. And like always, my man TY in the bottom left. You got anything for us, Ty?
I'm good to go, brother.
My man Matt J up in the top. You got anything for us?
I'm good.
My man Dusty Rub, my bud. You got anything left before we get out of here tonight?
Nah, everybody be good.
Salute to you, my brother. I am DJ Royalty. This is the Triple Threat Vet Podcast, and you have tuned in again for another episode. We love you. To everybody who comes and watches us, everybody who looks at us around the world, we appreciate you. We love you. Before I go, I want to give one shout out to the labor of love and everybody who came out to feed the homeless this last weekend. It couldn't have been done without you. I didn't want to leave anybody out. I love you guys. You guys come back next week. Till then, let your next day be your best day. I am DJ Royalty, and we out.